Okay, students, let's practice string manipulation. I have another video called username function, which explores string slicing with some of the similar techniques. So let's just create something simple. Let's just initialize a couple of variables, one that contains first name and one that contains family name. And I'm not using second name there because in places like China, you usually put your family name first, so it can be quite confusing to say second name, depending on the region you're in. So we've got these two variables, and what are they going to equal? Well, let's give them strings. I'll use my name. Okay, so my family name's Tobin, and what I can do is concatenate those. Concatenation, which means to link, I think in Italian. Concatenation, I can using the plus sign to do that. So what I can do is say full name equals first name plus family name. Now strings are immutable data types, however you can create new variables from parts of them and you can piece them together, but you can't directly change something in a string, so not like a list. So let's print that out and see what happens if I print out full name. Now I will have a little issue here. I probably won't have any spaces, so we'll just see what it looks like. I'm going to just clear the console. Okay, so it's got my name, but it's got no space in the middle. So if I really wanted to have my full name with a space, I have to concatenate the gap as well. So I'm joining together a space. So now if I play it, you can see it's got my name with a space in it. And full name is now that string with James, and there's a space, which is a character in itself, which in the ASCII table I think is 32, and then family name. So that's concatenation. And of course, what I can do here is I can print out parts of that full name. So if I wanted to just say, what's the initial? What's my initial, my first initial of the name? What I can do is square brackets, and if I put 0 in here, J is at position 0, so it should just print J. And if I wanted the small a for James, I can put 1 in there. There you go. So that way we can use indexing to reference a particular character in that string. And it's possible to have a start and stop value here. So if I wanted to have what was at position 0 and position 1, which is JA, but stop after that, I can put 2, because 2 is a stop value, up to but not including the number we need. So I've got JA now. Okay, so that's a little use of indexing and concatenation. So I'll put in here, use of index to reference character within string. What else can we do? Well, we can also look at substrings in more detail, which is essentially what we were just doing. But let's do something a bit more useful with it. Let's say we've got a product code. I'm using camel case here, and it's a string, and I'm like Great Britain or something like that, 2025 34. Okay, that's a product code that I have for a particular product. I can say the product. So we'll say that the product type is going to be the first 3 characters. The GBR, it's Great British Product. Okay, so we're going to say that product type equals product code, whatever the first 2 characters are. So I need 0 1 and 2, and my stop will be 3, and that will give me the GBR. So I'm assigning the first 3 characters of product code to the variable product type. Remember, 3 is up to but not including. So if I just make it super clear for you, G is at position 0, B is at 1, R is at 2, and I'm stopping before I get to position 3. So the stop value would be 2, but we're not including that. So we just do 0, 1, and 2 because they're 0 indexed, right? So then what I could say is, what's the year? Well, I've got 2025 in there, so I could say product year equals product code, and now I need to isolate. So at index 3 is where we have the 2, so I need to have my start value as 3, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I go up to but not including the stop value, so I need to put 7 in there. If I want to get 3, 4, 5, and 6 characters in there, I need to put from 3 to 7 as my start and stop value. So product year will now be taking that part of the string. And if I print this out, I can say product type equals, and then I can just do product type there, and I could do another print statement, product year equals, and put the variable in. So if I run that, it should give me GBR and 2025. So that's quite nice, isn't it? That's given us our product code, the GBR, the first 3 characters from that string, and the product year, the 2025, and the 34 could be something else, maybe like the product ID or something like that. Why don't we do that as well? Why not? So product ID equals product code, and we want to go from 7 to 9, don't we? Because we got hopefully this will let me. It might say out of range, we'll see. Okay, 34. GBR 2025 34. So we've isolated all the different parts of this string that we need using this idea of substrings. So that's quite powerful, obviously, because we can manipulate string data that might be in comma separated values and take bits that we need from it. Now let's have a quick look at string functions and methods. So let's just say my string equals learning Python is fun. I'm sure it is. So that's a little sentence we've got in English. And we could, let's use a built-in subroutine here as a string function called length. So we could say a length equals len, and you can see it's built in there, my string. And let's just print that out. And it should give me, well, I haven't counted it up, 34. Oh, let's have a look. Have I done something? Oh, I've misspelled print because in my haste I was rushing. Okay, there are 23 there. So The big L for learning will be at index 0. So that's the length of the string, the sentence in there. And I can also do something, I can do some clever things like I can say position, initialize this variable called position. And if I wanted to find the position of where it says Python, I can actually do that. I can say my string and use a method here. So I use a dot and then I can use find, and then I can look for Python. So let's see where it would be. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Space is an 8, is 8. So it should give me 9. So let's print this out. There we go. It gives us 9 because that's the location where Python is first found in the string. And that is a method, so it's a bit different from a string function. That's a method. And if it wasn't found, it will return -1. So I put it in here, -1 returned if Python not found. And what else can we do? We can do all sorts of things, actually. Let's have a quick look at ASCII. So we can have, I'm just going to put a generic, a value. Ord is the order in which we'll find capital A. Now I'm pretty sure this is 97. So let's find what this is. If I put a val in there, it'll probably give me 97. Or sorry, 65. 97 is small a. So if I do the same for small a, there's 97. Okay, so I'll do it for both. Okay, just so you can see. Right there, so 9765. So the position of capital A in the ASCII table, the American standard that was set up for all the characters, for character mapping, is at position 65. So I can also do the reverse. So if I wanted to print out what the character was at position 65, it will give me capital A. So I can go backwards and forth between the order on the ASCII table. So I'll just put a little note in here, ASCII, where the character is in the table, the ASCII table. And I can also do the reverse engine. If I know the number of the character, I can find out what it actually represents, what it is. And there are plenty of other string methods as well we can use. Some that are particularly useful I find are dot strip. I'll just put a proper dot in there. Dot strip, which gets rid of anything to the left and right of what you type in. And dot lower, if you want to make it all lowercase, or dot upper. There are some really other useful ones like is upper, is lower, that kind of thing. So there are a whole load of string methods we can use. You don't have to remember all of them because they are on the PLS book, or the language subset book that you get with the exam. But it's useful to sort of remember what they are and how they work at least. So we'll just do something kind of fun here, because you could make a logical statement saying something like capital A greater than small a, and what do you think will happen? have a think to yourself what might happen if you run this. So here we go. So it's saying false because capital A is at position 65, small a is at 97, and we're saying capital A, is it bigger than small a? Well, no, capital A is 65 and that's at 97. So we change that around. Is it smaller? Then it will be true. It's a true statement because it will be looking at the ASCII table to reference that character. Okay, so this is a little overview of how we can manipulate strings using concatenation to join strings together, to use indexing, and then using these substrings for something more meaningful, like taking parts out of a product code, and then using some string methods and functions, and a little bit on ASCII.